If I can lock in for 90 days, it doesn't require a ton of discipline or willpower. It just requires some momentum, and you just keep your foot on the gas. As long as you tell yourself it's just 90 days, you can get ahead way further and faster than most people who aren't thinking about these mini sprints.
So it's a hack.
It's a mindset hack, absolutely. And I think if people can learn this concept, which we're going to go over, and understand that there's so much power in mini long sprints, after 90 days, you've built a habit. And if you just tell yourself it's only 90 days, it doesn't feel overwhelming. And I remember you're talking about 75 hard. That's hard for people. It's because going from being someone who doesn't work out twice a day, doesn't drink a gallon of water a day, doesn't read a book every day or whatever, that's hard. Like that requires discipline and willpower. What the idea behind a 90-day sprint is, you identify 3 high rate of return activities and you make sure that you do X, whatever that amount is per week or per day for 90 days. And I like to break things up by weeks because then you can lollygag one day, or you get busy, you can make it up the next day, etc.
Life happens. Yeah, I've been trying to do 2 workouts a day, and I've been trying to do a 30-minute video in the morning. Then I'll go to the gym in the evening, and life happens. Sometimes you just can't. And even drinking the gallon of water, I also am trying to drink a gallon of water a day. I'm not actually doing 75 hard. It is also hard some days. It's just not always possible. And if you have no discipline, to be expected to go from 0 to hero in a program like that seems so overwhelming. So tell us more on how we can implement this and not be overwhelmed.
Yeah, and what you're describing and what's actually interesting is there's this point of the process. It's called the dip. And the dip is when you go, oh man, I missed a couple days. Why am I even trying? Or I've been doing this for 30 days and I'm not seeing results. So you have this, it's the success curve where like it's going, and then you're like, why isn't this working? And it's this bell curve where after this certain amount of time, the horizon appears and you're like, oh, I am seeing momentum. But if you don't get through the dip, so that's why breaking things into weeks I like better than days, because a lot of times if I miss my daily KPIs, I feel bad. But if I know they're weekly, yesterday I was kind of lazier than I'd like to be. And my level of laziness, I think compared to a normal humans, is I did 9 of the 10 things or 8 of the 10 things instead of 100 of the 10 things, right? So it's a self-defeating prophecy that I have to work on. But if you can string together enough weeks of completing all your tasks, you will be able to eventually reach this 90-day summit.
Oh, I like this. I told you I was doing the artist way. I understand this, where you hit the middle and you say like, is there any value in here? What am I getting out of this? And for the longest time, I didn't see the value. And then one day, light bulb went off and I said, oh my gosh, I forgot I'm an artist. I have this capability that I forgot I had. And it really is the aha moment that helps push you through to continue on.
And because you turned me on to the artist way. And if you guys haven't read it, it's phenomenal, especially the morning pages, which is just like a brain dump every morning. It helps a ton. And I'd realized and this is really what happens when you start any 90-day sprint or sprint in general. You're really good in the beginning. You're hitting every nugget. Like I'm posing questions to myself and I'm getting introspective. And then it becomes a little routine. And then you're like, I'm doing my journaling in the morning. And then you're like, why isn't this as effective? And so it's 2 things. It's there hasn't been enough time that elapsed where you've built the skill or created enough momentum. And then also it's, oh, was I doing this in a way that was more involved or more thorough that was working before for me? And it's easy to taper off that. It's like that Post-it note you put on the mirror and then you forget that it's there because it just blends into the background.